All right, let's get started. Hi, everyone, and welcome. I see a lot of people joining now. So, welcome, guys, to the Gen AI in Action, how we're going to leverage Adobe Firefly for business. My name is Johan Lopez Helgeson. I'm a SC principal, solutions consulting principal at Adobe. I'm based in Stockholm, Sweden. I've done a couple of these sessions before. I'm so excited today because I have with me, I'm sorry to say, my partner in crime because we've done a couple of stuff before you and I, Jerlyn, but Jerlyn O'Donnell, she is based in New York. She's such an inspiring creative. She's a director of experience design. She's an Adobe community expert. She's published a lot of, well, many books. You can talk about that. She's a STEM mentor. She's a digital consultant and speaker, and she writes, and she's a mom. Jolene, welcome to
Yeah.
this session.
That's enough. That's not enough titles. I think I'm going to add another one today. It's going to be like Efficiency Officer. What do you think?
It sounds awesome. Yeah.
No, but I'm
And
I'm excited to do this with you because you're literally over 4,000 miles away. I'm based in New York, so it's so great that technology can bring us so close together and bridge this gap, and especially with generative AI.
awesome. So before we get started, you and I, we're going to be doing back and forth. We're gonna talk about processes. We're going to be demoing a little bit on the web and we need to just go through some of the housekeeping rules and then we'll get started. So the rules that we need to make sure that you guys know about is the fact that if you want to ask questions, we're going to have a Q&A pod coming up soon. And the chat pod that we have right now we're not going to be able to monitor those. And we will be recording the session. I know our producer Rick Hill has already pressed the button. So we will be recording this and it's going to be available on demand after a few days. And everybody registered for this session will be getting an email from us. And please use Chrome if you have any issues. This platform works much better with Chrome. And we're going to try to solve any of the issues. And you're going to see that in the chat soon as well, what I've just mentioned. It's right now, you're probably also seeing a poll on your screen. Please answer those. We would love to hear from you. And we're going to make this interactive because at the end of the session, you will, of course, get to do a Q&A with us. But Jolene, how's the poll going? Can you see?
Wow, there's quite a bit of people who are already familiar with Adobe Firefly services, but I also see some people they would like to start using it. So not saying like not saying like the first ones are better. I just really love that people are excited about using this at all. And yeah, this presentation is perfect for it. So right now
Cool.
we have
So
42% who said they are.
42% are already using Firefly. Awesome, guys, because for you guys who's already used Firefly, you can see the agenda right now behind me, well, in front of me. So for those of you already using Firefly, we'll be talking a lot about strategy and processes that's going to make you, Jolene has been doing some amazing work with Firefly. So the behind the scenes, I just love as a creative person to know what another creative individual is how that person is thinking. So yeah, so the agenda today, guys. So we just went through the introduction. We're going to talk about some key trends that you guys should really know about in this fast-paced world of AI. And we're
It's
going to
changed a lot.
talk, yeah, it's changing so much. I mean, I'm learning new things every day. So how to create the perfect ideation strategy with Firefly. That's basically the gist of it, how we're going to focus to give you guys so many ideas how to work as fast as possible and as efficient as possible. We're going to explore one tool that's Gen AI first kind of a tool at Adobe called Project Concept in a couple of minutes. And then we're going to go to Q&A and talk to you guys about what's top of mind for you and so on. So how's that sound?
It
Let's
sounds
get started.
amazing. Let's get started. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So the whole thing, we want to set the stage so you really understand that what's going on. So one of the key reasons why everybody's talking about Gen AI is that we have this huge explosion of content that's needed for us to be able to fuel whatever we're doing as a brand. We need to do personalization. We need to make sure that the experiences are personalized, and of course, that's going to require a lot of content.
Mhm.
If you want to do personalization, it requires a lot of content. And as a modern marketing company, it requires this amount of content. And to display that, I'm just going to go through a few slides here to just show you. So if you have 8 products, that's total 8 assets. But if you try to do something for 15 marketing channels, it's going to increase. And then you're going to start thinking about languages, it's going to increase furthermore. And then you're going to start thinking about the variants that's going to be you need to do. It's going to continue to increase, and then increases. And then you're going to think about the refreshes that you're going to do per year. If you do 3 times or 12 times refreshes, you end up having a lot of content. As you can see, it doesn't make sense that us creatives are expected to deliver this huge amount of content that's needed. So
And you know why this
yeah,
happens, Johan? Because
yeah,
like social media works so quickly and you want to keep up with trends as a marketer. So this is like I feel the stress of everyone, but Gen AI makes us so much faster.
yeah, exactly. And this is why I love to always go back to the fact that people will always ask, can we really get Gen AI to deliver? And we are seeing that. And you're going to see some example in the use cases later on, right, Jalen, where Gen AI is actually helping. It's really helping us to churn things out faster. But also, what I have in the slide here is, if there's one thing to get out of this slide, you can read it. I don't want to necessarily read all of it, but it's just the fact that you need to be on brand. Even though if you can get Gen AI to actually leverage Gen AI to do this, productivity gains that you can get with Gen AI, you need to make sure it's on brand, right, Jelaine? It's like
Exactly.
it's really tricky otherwise if you just start prompting and it just does stuff that's not adhering to your brand. You're just gonna end up shooting yourself in the foot. But these 4 pillars here are the reason why it's so tricky to scale. And we'll be talking about a lot of new stuff today that's going to help you with scalability as well. Not only sitting and prompting in front of your computer with Photoshop and the usual tools.
Exactly.
Right. So this one, I like this question. So top of mind to our bosses, everyone, in the agencies, in-house agencies, as well as external agencies helping you as a big brand. What if we could produce 10 times more? But obviously, budgets are not increasing as much, right? So we need to make sure that we are as efficient as possible. And this is one of the reasons why Gen AI is going to be helping us, right?
Exactly. And I can tell my clients that I'm producing 50,000 assets for them
Oh my
overnight.
gosh, 50,000. Oof. Um, so guys, you see, why we need to create and why we're creating Gen AI and why we think Gen AI is going to create a lot of value. From an Adobe perspective, you just put the lenses on Adobe, you guys know the usual suspects. You know this part here. You know the Creative Cloud for Enterprise, which has all of these tools. And Adobe Express is also very fairly new, and it's creating a lot of value for non-creatives. HR, salespeople. It's gonna
Mhm.
increase capacity basically. But on the right side of me here on the slide is something that you maybe not are as familiar with. Firefly services, which is basically taking all the good stuff that Adobe can do in terms of Photoshop and prompting, but make those as APIs that you can actually create and extend on. We're going to talk about it in the next couple of slides. Underneath here, well, in between the custom models, you see a creative management platform, which is Frame.io, which if you guys put in the chat if you've been using Frame.io, because it's so cool to use if you're doing video. But when Adobe acquired Frame.io a couple of years ago, we made it so it's actually a tool for all 5 formats out there. Julian, have you been using Frame.io much?
No, and I want it so bad. So actually I have peers who are, and we also got a presentation from Adobe about Frame.io, but I'm happy that you highlighted video because and people who are not video editors can leave comments and give feedback. Our clients can give feedback. So I haven't, but I really hope
Mhm.
we do.
Yeah, let's make sure you and I, when we're actually so far apart, to actually work on some projects through Frame.io.
Exactly.
Um, as yeah, so we have custom models. We'll touch about custom models. So exciting to show you guys what me and Jillian worked on. We created a custom model. We'll talk about that soon. And beneath everything here, guys, I wanted to highlight the amount of models that we are creating. You are very familiar now. Well, 40% of you guys in this call are familiar with the image model that we created, available in Photoshop, through Firefly at adobe.com, through Express, but also Adobe Illustrator. We have a vector model in there, and we have a design model in Adobe Express that allows you to create designs, simple websites, and similar layouts using a design model. And we so excited to highlight the video model today, right, Jillian?
Yes, I love it. That's actually, as an experience design director, I love this, like bringing the images to life when I generate them. So yes, looking forward to that part.
Yeah, and coming soon, it says here, you'll see some of the stuff that says coming soon. If you go to firefly.adobe.com, you're able to actually see where we're at. You can actually sometimes even subscribe to be part of the beta. So audio model, you can imagine that it's going to be so cool when you're creating, mood boards and MVPs and storyboards and so on, to actually add audio into it, and translate that to different languages. You see some
Different
examples on
languages.
five. Yeah,
I think that's the most exciting to me, like I'm translating into different languages.
yeah, cool. So this is just like a bird's eye perspective of the stuff that's out there. But I'm just double clicking a little bit because you see some movements here, in terms of some of the stuff you recognize, in Gen Fill, which is just a game changer in Photoshop, and generative expand in InDesign, which also has been giving some of that superpower that we accustomed to with Photoshop. And
Yep.
you see Lightroom doing removal, and you see Adobe Illustrator, as I mentioned earlier, about the vector. We'll show you some examples, and of course, video tools. I'm so excited about this feature here. The ability to just extend a clip like that,
You
game
remember like
changer.
when you
Yeah,
when you're in person, you recorded all this footage and you just forgot just extra B-roll. This
yeah.
is what excites me about generative expand in video.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Um, so yeah, moving swiftly, we want to just frame the fact that Firefly is commercially safe. So if you compare Firefly with other Gen AI systems out there, we've created it very transparently in front of everybody. We know where the data set comes from. It is coming from close to 400 million assets that we actually have gotten help from you guys, from the community, pretty much, right? And we trained it responsibly. We have a huge amount of security and privacy, and we're leading with the content authenticity initiative to make sure that we have, a mechanism that's going to be easy for you to trace when you actually leveraging Gen AI. I just love content authenticity. The content credentials tool. If you haven't, guys, if you're using Photoshop and you haven't turned it on, go and test it. Go and check it out. Um, Jillian, have you been using it much?
Of
Do you
course I
turn it
have.
on
Of
in your
of course I
enterprise?
have. There's as an artist, I think it's very important for me to know where my art, ends up. So
Yeah.
I actually have it not like no one can train my images when I post them. So just understand the historical background of that image is important. And I'm so happy that you're highlighting Adobe Firefly as safe for business because according to our audience, you guys are probably using different models. I do. However, I work in the healthcare space and indemnification is so important to us, like whoever is responsible for the type of images that we use, like there's lots of regulatory, so we need to make sure our images are done correctly. We need to also make sure our artists are paid. We're not stealing content. It's like we do not want lawsuits. So again,
Mm.
Adobe Firefly being safe for businesses is critical.
Yeah, spot on. And the fact that we're also highlighting the three other parts there. One thing that's really close to my heart, and I know close to your heart as well, is diversity in terms of representation of the training sets that we put in there. I was mentioning this to you a couple of days ago, Jillian. Remember when I was talking to you, I said, if you were to prompt, and depending on where you are in the world, Firefly actually tries its best to actually give you a doctor that looks at, similar to the population where you are. You
That is so
remember?
amazing, and my mind was
Yeah.
blown because if we're producing all of these different assets, knowing that the model is being sensitive about where that asset might end up is so important. So yeah, that's really amazing.
Yeah. And double clicking a little bit, I was too fast there, but double clicking a little bit on just to show you guys it's not only for play, it's serious stuff. Accidental copyright infringement does happen when we leverage Gen AI systems these days. I'm calling out some of these in the slide here, but intentionally, because if you were to use, for example, one of the systems, and majority of them actually scrape the web for their data set. Gen AI is so freaking hungry for human creativity. That's how it works, right? That's how the architecture works. It needs to feed off of creativity, and that's how these systems are actually scouring the web for, you know, illustrations, for designs, and all of that. But if you try to prompt and you're not thinking too much about it, let's say that this prompt is a photo of an athlete, and this athlete will probably in other systems pop up with logos on it,
Mhm.
and not for Firefly. And this is an example of that whole commercially safe thing.
Exactly. No, because imagine you're actually prompting your client's name in a content you don't want their competitors' logos to appear on your generative image. So I'm happy that Adobe is considering that.
Awesome. Now, moving swiftly to the next part, which is the Gen AI trends that you need to know. Um, so, Jolene, take us through a couple of these. Just like let's read through a couple, and then we can
Mhm.
double click on them.
So
So, the first one, yeah,
AI agents, and that's actually the most exciting to me because I can literally replicate 3 or 4 of myself. In fact, I can probably do 50. I told you like what excites me most about this. I can pretend to be a 50-person company with one individual, me. Text to video is also exciting. Just bringing my ideas to life, as I said. And of course, there's like project concept, which you have to tell me more about, Johan, because I
yeah,
saw it at Adobe Max, but definitely really want to see what you guys have been up to.
yeah,
And custom models, as an artist, I need to work really quickly. So training my own models is essential. I love that Gen AI probably gets 80% there of my style. At first, I was
mm,
a little scared about it, but I realized I could probably get things done quicker. That really,
mm,
really push
yeah,
my limits here. Also, no code. I don't know if some of you are familiar with vibe coding, but I can be a programmer without being a programmer with Gen AI. And then
mm,
also creating workflows. So yeah, this is exciting. And I hope some
mm,
of you guys are familiar with it. And let us know in the chat also what you guys have been playing with as well.
yeah,
Mm.
awesome. So, Gen, Gen AI, or the next phase, which is AI agents. Just quickly, just to highlight what it is. It's basically, um, you know, a chat GPT similar kind of a chat engine, but it's on steroids. It works autonomously, and it thinks and behaves like a human person when you give it a task. So if it hits an obstacle, it will start reasoning, and it will start finding a workaround to arrive at a solution. That's basically AI agents, guys. It's You've already been playing around with it if you've done, you know, Microsoft Copilot, or if you've been playing around with ChatGPT, or if you playing around with Claude. But it is specifically trained on, as it says here, on a system knowledge. So you need to feed it with your specific domain or your data set from your company, and it will start doing good stuff for you. The third pillar here is it needs to be powered by tools, and I'll double click a little bit on what I mean with tools, because if you look at Photoshop. Photoshop has been using, machine learning in Photoshop has been there for 12 plus years, right? Content aware fill is one of those features that's been in there. But if you take those features like we currently have, like text to image, text to video, all of these features are actually tools that can actually be put in front of an agent.
Yes.
And when these agents actually start chaining these tools together, that's where the magic happens. That's where you may have agents working together. You may
Hmm.
have an agent that says, hey, I can create an audience for you. But for me, well, I am a primary agent, but I can actually ask another agent to create an audience for me. And if I need, I can actually get a Photoshop agent to actually do the text to image for me. And then
Really?
boom, take this stuff and put them together, and you get a campaign.
So you're
That's
making me think about some things right now. So theoretically, let's say I have this campaign where I'm wearing this yellow dress in the spring. Can
Mhm.
I change this dress to red from Photoshop, um, like instantaneously, so I can create an agent for that? Because I have,
Yeah.
let's
So
say, 150 images that I don't want to retouch by myself.
yeah. So you would be able to
Oh,
precisely that. You will
yes.
be able to just say, okay, here's the Photoshop APIs. Agent, go to the Photoshop APIs and give me exactly this. If I
Wait,
just go to next screen,
Johan,
you'll see what I
I
mean.
can't
Yeah.
tell my client this. I can't tell my at all.
It's true. So just double clicking on what we're talking about, the process behind the scenes. We're going to talk a lot about mood boards and storytelling later on. But just an example, you can create a mood board agent that will retrieve inspiration. You can actually guide it by saying, here is a reference image. We're going to talk a lot about references and style references next, but here's a reference image, and go and fetch the web and give me a mood board, a style similar to these reference images that I gave you, and then put it in my folder somewhere, my Dropbox or
Amazing,
my DAM, my AM, whatever. So
amazing.
I'm just giving you some ideas, you guys, and these are all in exploration inside Adobe, inside big companies. So agents are very trendy. It's going to happen. And double clicking again from a Photoshop, Illustrator, and Adobe a Document Cloud PDF perspective, also from a marketing perspective in the data side of Adobe, these these platforms will become tools where agents can actually start using those. Just go back to your question again about that use case that you suggested. Here is basically Firefly services. We've taken everything that we'll talk about, text to image, text to video, all this stuff. These are just tools that can be used by an agent to actually chain together a task and start reasoning and doing that stuff. Next level stuff, guys. This is crazy. Next couple of weeks, March 17th, we will have Adobe Summit where there's going to be a lot of stuff happening around this topic. Check it
Amazing.
out. Yeah. So moving swiftly into what we're here for, we're going to talk about a little bit of text to image. This is a prompt, and feel free to actually, as we speak, pick up this prompt and type it in. If you're on firefly.adobe.com, you have access to Firefly, just to see that we're not lying. The stuff that we show you is amazingly quality wise. We're coming to a point where we are now on Model 3, Firefly image Model 3, and the quality of people and the quality of tonality in the images are getting better and better. What do you
Okay.
think, Juliet?
I love this. I love this so much. They are
So
getting better.
yes, so let's go into my browser, and let me know if you can still see my browser. Can you see
Yes.
my? Yeah,
Yes.
awesome. um Jolene, this I had fun doing this. This is so
Thank you.
cool. As I'm going to be demoing Firefly on the web right now, I wanted to highlight the fact that it was you know
International Women's Day.
International Women's Day. Yes, yes.
And
What did you do?
this
What did you end
poster.
up doing there?
Oh wow! Well, so much like really highlighting the pioneers that came into the space. I'm pretty sure some people are familiar with Ada Lovelace. So there's a lot of women in STEM that actually drove where we are today in technology. And again, being a STEM educator, I love highlighting that. However, this
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah.
was meant to make people work more like and harder. But guess what? Gen AI actually helps you be more efficient and prioritize specific things now in the space. So I love when I
Mm.
see we can do it. It's like, yes, we all can do this. We can all create better, create faster, be more efficient. So thank you for
Yeah.
creating this one, Johan.
Yeah, and I love the remix that you did, Charlene.
Thank
It's
you.
almost like I wish, remember the remix you did with this one when you put it on your LinkedIn, the one with the video when you actually had a custom model
He was
of you.
just flexing her
I
muscle.
loved it. Yeah, the one flex. Yeah, it was so cool. So if you're not following Jolene on LinkedIn, please do because she did an amazing thing with this. Anyways, guys, I'm digressing. So I'm just going to show you quickly. If you never used Firefly before, Firefly doesn't expect you to be a prompt engineer. It allows you to, the simplicity of the tool is this, you can come in here and you can choose if you're going to use model one, model two or model three. And you can actually choose if you're going to generate a portrait, a landscape, a square, a widescreen. Recently, we introduced something that we call the fast mode because it allows you to just get the images really fast, and then you can go back and you can get them upscaled. You can
Love it.
choose if you're gonna generate art or photo, or leave it in auto. You can do a composition if you have something like a 3D rendered image and you want to display that and then do a prompt on it. But what I want to highlight here is this, guys. I scoured the web because it was, because of International Women's Day. I scoured the web for this poster, and I was so excited to read and learn more about this poster. As you said, Jolene, it's not as we think. The feminists have been using this poster, but it wasn't nice to hear that it
Yeah,
was
it
it
was
was
to make
used to.
people work more.
Yeah, yeah,
No, but
unfortunately,
but this is
but
this is
yeah,
fine because we can
yeah,
reframe it to we don't have to work more or harder using these tools. And
yeah,
one of the things I love about this standalone web experience of Firefly, you do not have to be a prompt engineer.
yeah,
However, we do have guidance for that if you need it from us. Um,
yeah,
but you can basically select which feature you want, upload which reference you need, and Firefly will help you get there. And I believe you have some prompt suggestions as well, which I love that you guys have added. So you can
yes, yeah.
just jump right in and start playing with it.
Yeah, so in here you see that as I'm saying, okay, my prompt is a picture of it says a man here, but I because I created versions with a man as well. You see it next, a picture of a woman showing power and confidence, and I just uploaded the style reference here, and then I uploaded the composition. I want to double click on the composition. The composition essentially it allows you to pick to guide Firefly to the pose that you're doing. So
Mhm.
if you want to generate something that's you know posed in a specific way as she's doing with her hands like that with her showing her muscles, that exactly what Firefly will pick up from the composition and the style, anything that you can imagine, like the photo, the lighting, the tonality of the images. That's the ingredients, and you have the ability to just check the visual intensity and strength here, and off you go. All right. So if you see here, I have a reference here, and that's the image. I can choose any reference that's already here, or I can browse and upload the ones that's my company wants me to use. You basically, guys, just to keep it short, you are an art director, and you don't need to be a prompt engineer, and you can come in here and you go nuts on all the different things settings that you have. I want to also highlight the fact that you can come in here, you can choose camera angles like landscape photography and stuff like that. So it's awesome. And next thing that we wanted to highlight is this one, and because this is a good segue into text to video. I have an image of well, it's actually a drawing here of a car, which is very line drawing kind of a car. And again, using the same concept, I suggested this to be a composition reference. And my prompt is an SUV driving down a dirt road in the desert. And these are the image suggestions. I quite love them because they're very, stylized into the image that I uploaded. You can actually draw something on a napkin and do the same thing as I did.
And what
Yeah.
excites me about this, back in the day, not dating myself, we would have to fly someone into the desert to actually create something like this or find a stock photography. So how exciting this is, and how much less would I have to pay to create this campaign?
Yeah. So if I go back to the presentation, you see now what I did, jumping to this one. So this is exactly what I was talking about. So
Mhm,
the whole suggestion was to go from sketch to an
mhm.
image and then go to video. This is so cool, Jillian. I just loved when we played with this one because remember that Firefly does have text to video as well. So
Yes.
when we our suggestion that what the learning and Byron, my colleague, my amazingly talented colleague, he's created a lot of these text to video tutorials, and we'll share a couple with you guys. But what I love about this is actually Byron's tip. Do first, if you want to do really good, have some better controls in terms of text to video, this is what I did. First, come to Firefly as I did here and generate an image. Then use that image in the text to video engine
Exactly.
and talk about this, Jolene. You see the part here. Speak about this part here. I just
Oh,
want
great.
you to speak
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yes, because so that's actually my workflow as well, and this is how I
Yeah.
did the Women's Day poster. I
Yeah.
started with reference image, and then added the feature. So maybe it's like zooming into that image or zooming out, probably adding like maybe the wind is blowing, so the sand is flying in the air. Maybe there's the clouds going by. So look at this. And see what do you mean? There you go.
Yeah.
And here's another pro tip. You can have a before and after image depending on models that you use. So
Yeah.
and you know
Yeah.
how long that would have taken us if we did this on live.
Yeah. So that brings us to this. What can we do with text to video?
B-roll. This is like again, you always excite me when you show me anything with video. So Premiere
Yeah.
has this feature of generative expand. So
Mhm.
yes, I was probably sent to the desert to record this video, but I forgot to add that extra step. But no, I am doing it directly in Firefly model. I created this video and then I can extend it. I can also have
Yeah.
special effects. And I don't even wanna tell you the process we used to do back in the day for special effects, but I can just type text right now and have that happen. Transitions, animatics. The animatics, portion of this is also great for us as creatives because I can create, like, very low fidelity animatics and send it to my client and get approval, and then go back and refine what I really need.
Yeah.
Yeah, video pitches. Thank you. Ideation of clients, and right now my clients feel so empowered because they can collaborate with us when
Mm.
we come up with these campaigns.
Yeah. And speaking of that, speaking of animatics, let's actually double click and go in and highlight some of the stuff that you've created. But before that, let's talk about this one. This is actually where you're seeing agencies using Gen AI
Yeah,
to prove and do stuff and share the behind the scenes. I love this one. This is actually
me
Travis
too.
Scott Nike commercial. So cool. Let's actually double click on this. Let's speak about storyboarding, Jolene. Talk about that. And as I
So,
play this video.
funny enough, the very first time I started using, generative AI in any aspect for work was storyboarding. So I started playing with it about, like, a little bit over 2 years ago, and my team came to me and asked me to come up with 3 concepts. And I said, "Okay, I'll get back to you in a few days." Johan, it did not take me 3 days. I went back to my desk, I chat with ChatGPT, asked for 3 concepts, so, and was able to do screenplays of 3 ideas with, 6 frames per concept. Went into Midjourney, asked it for sketch. So what you're seeing right here on the left and the right are sketches from Midjourney, and I brought it back to my desk. Guess how long that took me?
Uh, 10 days. No, no, I'm
No,
just
half an
kidding.
hour. So I was able to share all these ideas to my team in less than half an hour, and the longest part of it was actually putting it in InDesign as a storyboarding frame, which is very funny. I'm sure I can do it much quicker now, but being able to share it to my team within the half an hour, they were able to record this in less than 3 days.
Yeah.
and that same day actually. So here
Yeah.
and right now I can do more high res. So that's the screen that you're showing.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm using a tool here called Catalyst. So as you see,
Yeah.
many of these tools have advanced. So I can show each storyboard frame and even the logo. So I didn't even design this logo. um,
Mm.
and
Wow.
then from that, I can create these motion or animatics as a proof of concept.
Yeah. And the speaking of animatics, so this is the one you shared. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
So
not even animatics
speak.
anymore. It's high
Yeah.
fidelity enough to think that it's the real thing. But yeah, this is what I was able to produce from that storyboard.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah. It's.
I am definitely using a different model here. It's
Yeah.
Pika Labs, but
Mm,
I don't have to be concerned about something being safe to use if I'm using Adobe tools like Firefly.
yeah.
And actually, this logo was generated with Illustrator, so
Nice.
so there you go. Much
Cool.
faster process.
Yeah. Oh, it's just repeating that. So speak about wireframing. What kind of process do you have when you work with wireframes?
So, because I focus on experience design. Sometimes we build things like apps or websites, and in the beginning
Mhm.
phase, you do want to wireframe some of this journey that the user will take. And in this example, I am just showing an app. Yes, so I would have gone into Figma and have like a UI kit, probably drop all of these components together to
Mm,
show this content. However, now I can just type this out, like create these different screens for me, and
mm.
the wires are done.
Yeah.
It's not taking me all day anymore. Although using a UI kit is
Mm,
going to make my process faster, but no, I can just type it. If I can think about it, I can just type it. It generates it.
yeah. Awesome. Amazing. We have one more to show, and then we can talk about
This
project
is
concept. This one, speak about this one because
This is
I
absolutely
love
my
this. Yeah.
favorite. This is absolutely my favorite. So I am not a fashion person, but I was curious what if I can take like visually a outfit that I like and put it on myself. And this is a generated image of me, well, generated video of me wearing this outfit. So imagine this for maybe a fashion company, and they probably
Mm.
want to use like some of their designs on a model. I thought this was a very good use case for anyone, and of course, think about localizing this to the audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I see some hearts here happening. I think that's exciting. But yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
I was curious, like what would I look like if I'm wearing this lovely jacket that I didn't like I can see a lot happening in that space.
Yeah. So let's move swiftly over to one Gen AI tool that allows us to do all of this stuff. One of the key things, guys, this is Project Concept. It's currently in beta. But one of the key things that Jolene just highlighted, we can go from storyboarding, mood boarding, and wireframing, and as creators, we find ourselves these days in the age of Gen AI. We find ourselves these days scouring through different tools, Jolene, right? So you need to go through a lot of tools to do a lot of this stuff. Some tools can be really good, like as you saw with the Pika Labs one,
Sure.
really good with certain stuff, right?
Learning
Yeah,
curves for sure, because
yeah,
you might have a team with varying degrees of knowledge. So what this is what excites me about Project Concept, like everyone collaborating
yeah.
together.
Yeah, and also you were mentioning about when we talked about text to video and how you can actually start working with clients. Basically, what we created, where it's actually still in beta, and you can join the waiting list here. So Adobe is actually creating a tool that allows you to basically have this multi-user canvas. That's the word I was looking for, a multi-user canvas, where you can actually be as many people as you want, and you can start ideating. So it says here jokingly, it still always starts with an idea.
Yes.
That's true.
True.
That's true. Yeah, so you basically, I thought it was so cool when you were saying earlier, Jolene, that the ability to actually minimize the back and forth,
Mhm.
between a client and is this what you want? Is this what you want? This is what we're trying to minimize when we're doing storyboarding, right?
Yeah, 'cause
So
that
here
typically
is,
is.
Yeah,
that's typically where most of the budget is spent, is like people can't really pitch their ideas quick enough.
yeah,
So just coming up with that idea and just killing it right away. Like I'm really for that. It's just like this is not working and you can see why, move on. So I think our clients would be excited about that.
yeah. So yeah, guys, have a play. Try to click on this button. I know our producer Rickle is sharing the link to this page here, but there is a join the waiting list, and you know wait for access to it, because when I got access to it, I was just extremely, extremely impressed with the fact that I could quickly remix something that, or even stuff that my colleagues had done internally here at Adobe.
Mhm.
That ability to see it. And there's also some tricks that we're putting in here because it's Gen AI first tool. Um, so have a play with it, and and let us know what you think, because it's such a game changer. It's going to be for sure a game changer. Now, um, Rickle, we will switch to running a video of Project Concept, and then we'll come back.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
And I'm
right
so
in,
happy.
and
I'm seeing all this excitement as well. Like, yes.
you like it. A lot of you guys liked it. I see that. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Now let's switch gears. We have some more stuff to talk about, you and I, and we're gonna talk about custom models. That's for sure. But let's go back now to use cases. And we've been talking so much about how Jolene has been working, but how about actually highlighting some of these brands that you are familiar with? How about how about this brand here? You see which one it is, right?
Oh, are you sure?
Barbie.
Oh, wait. I
Am I
think
am I sharing? I
no, no.
think I should be sharing. Let's go
Difference
back to
between
let's go back to it. How about now?
it is loading. There we go. Yes. I hope everyone can see. So Barbie.
Barbie's back. Yeah, she's back. But the cool thing about this, the guy that actually is one of the creative director, he's been doing so many presentations. I'm pretty sure you've seen him at Adobe Max a couple of years, Jerlene. You've been to Max so many years, right?
7
But
times.
yeah, but he's so cool because he's talking about the before and after. They do packaging design for Barbie, and he's like, I've been using these so-called blue lines, and we do sketching. I iterate and we go back and forth. But since Gen AI in Photoshop, they are starting to doing this, and the speed of things are going so much faster, to a point where it's going from days to hours of creating these
Yeah.
packages.
And he probably doesn't
Just
need to use blue lines anymore because of that.
yeah, yeah, it's so amazing. But sometimes when I was doing a lot of creativity stuff, I was slated for using high fidelity prototyping. You know
I
what I mean?
know.
So
Well,
when you're showing stuff that's
but
too fresh in front of a customer, and they're like, "Oh, is that how it's going to look like?" You know, No, it's just
Yeah,
some sketches.
so no, they no longer care about the sketches. They just know that they want to see it instantaneously.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one use case I wanted to highlight, and I wanted also to highlight the general use cases, like
Mhm.
from big enterprises like yourselves, like most of our attendees works for big enterprises. We want to just give you guys a bird's eye perspective of the typical Firefly powered use cases. You can do language localizations, campaign to localize those languages and so on. As you saw in the beginning was when I was talking about how important it is for going from a hero to personalized experiences. And you of course have the ability to do bulk asset production. Why would you want to sit in front of Photoshop pressing a button or creating an action where you can get agents nowadays to do that for you? But it,
Exactly.
it, it gets powered by APIs, and this is what we're showing here. So whatever use cases, it needs to be powered by APIs. Firefly custom models. Oh my gosh, let's talk about it.
Yes.
Um, so what is it? What are we talking about, Jolene, when we talk about custom
Training
models?
our own models. So this is what I absolutely love. And as an illustrator, like I said, like I showed an example of the storyboarding. I want to, as an illustrator, be able to show it in my own likeness, my own style. And since I do publish books, I do illustration for books. Being able to train a model with my style and generate those images makes my
Yeah.
process so much faster. Johan, I think the next screen you'll be showing us an example
Yeah.
of my work.
Yes,
Okay.
I will. Let me just. There it is.
Yes.
Oof. Took me a
So
while to
this
get there.
is so this is a style like from one of my past books. So I had 28 images, but I'm not sure how many you placed in here. But
Mhm,
I wanted to be able to keep my style consistent for my brand, like or books.
mhm.
I will have to admit this scared me a little bit because I'm like, wait, Firefly can draw for me. I'm no longer needed. But no, it actually helps improve my work like much faster. It probably gets me like 80% there. So
Mm.
I will still need some oversight as a human to make sure that style is consistent. So no, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lose your job. It just makes you work faster, more efficiently.
yeah,
This is an example that you placed in the Firefly model.
yeah, exactly. And you brought something very important there. You said it took you to 80%. I wanted to highlight that because when I work with customers, a lot of them often thinks that with Gen AI, both creatives that's been working with Photoshop and Illustrator for many years are afraid of their jobs. Don't be. But also, customers are expecting production-ready images coming out of these systems. Don't believe them, and don't. It's so important to highlight. I mean, in so many projects, churning out Gen AI stuff, doing prompt engineering, it can take you really far, but don't believe when people say that, oh, it's going to be a 100%, it's going to make you
No,
much more efficient. It will, but it's
well,
important what you highlighted there. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. It's not like production ready.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I think the next slide.
Yes,
Awesome.
the next slide is a game here. I mean, we're almost getting there, but I wanted to highlight, if you can spot which of the 8 illustrations that were created in that custom model are Gen AI. If you can, um, by just looking at these images. I've mixed both non-Gen AI and Gen AI illustrations of Jerlene's work. I'll give you a couple more seconds and then we'll go next and you see the results.
This is so
I
scary.
had some, yeah, I had some fun doing this. So this is it. These were um, the Gen AI generated images. And I remember when I exported, it took me 25 minutes to create the model with Jolene's artwork. When I shared this with you, Jolene, you were like, "Oh my
I was like,
gosh,
I
this."
was like, this is me. Wait, did I do this one? I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, it's amazing, guys. I just wanted to just show you the quality of the stuff that comes out. But as Jolene said, it's not always going to be production ready. But
Yeah. But I
and
would
this
say
more
use
examples.
case, like I might try to source an illustrator on like from I don't know, who've worked with us in the past, and instead of having them like do the sketches, we might ask them to license their style and utilize it in like a comp, and then make sure that they're the ones finalizing the production part of it. So it just makes it faster. It's like, hey, we're going to use your style, license it for the time, and then so this is a great use case to make us work more efficiently.
Yeah, and just to double click a little bit. So let's show you some examples. You can do currently at Adobe, we allow you to train on styles, but also subject. Subject could be like a product. And the data is so simple to train, by the way, guys. I want to just highlight or emphasize how simple it is. I'm biased, of course, because we made custom models at Adobe, but you know, Jillian, I know you are familiar with a lot of other systems and engines. If you just compare the engine that you saw, you know, Firefly, when I trained your model, the user interface. Actually, incidentally, I want to show you the user interface real quick because I have it on the browser somewhere. So this is the user interface. Can you see still my screen, Jolene? Just
Yes.
let
Yes.
me, yeah. So this is your artwork, and this is me on Firefly custom models style reference. These are the data sets. When we hear that word data set, it sounds so technical, right, Jolene? But it's your images, it's your illustrations that I uploaded. And Firefly automatically knows the captions. It just goes in and it does the image recognition and try to understand. Sometimes it's actually wrong, so you need to guide it back and say, hey, you know, this is not a woman, it's a man. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
you get things wrong. But apart from that, and you just press train, and you can also suggest if you're going to use it in a team, you can say a sample prompt. I want the sample prompt to be a woman with dark hair and a purple scarf. And then I just preview it. And it will be just like running Firefly. You can prompt it. It
Amazing.
knows, yeah, it knows exactly, you know, I'm using Jerlene's artwork candidate as my model. It's not going to hallucinate and go outside of that because it just knows Jerlene's artwork. And now I'm going to just generate the images. And I'm live, by the way, guys. So it's going to take a couple of seconds now when it's going to generate, going through the servers, back to San Jose, and then come back to Europe. I don't know, but it's doing some magic here. And we'll give it a couple more seconds and we'll wrap up. But it's so cool to see that the user interface, if you know how to do Firefly, you know how to do custom models. That's what I'm trying to say. Make sure the tips that I will give you will share Byron, and I think he's still on this call. Byron has created an amazing, useful guidelines in terms of prompt engineering as well. So if you want to, yeah, there it is. You haven't
Awesome.
seen these are fresh.
Oh,
These are new. Right.
wow.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I can't even tell, which is very so maybe it is 90 something percent there.
Oh yeah,
Scary.
you
I'm not
raise it.
even
You
using
raise it
it.
now to 90%. Oh my gosh. But so cool, so cool. Let's go back now. But I just want to show you quickly what else you can do with custom models. So we've been focusing on Jillian's artwork, but you can of course do illustrations as you saw. You can do
Photography,
photo, you
photography.
know, yeah.
Yes.
Speak to it, speak to it.
No,
Yeah,
illustration styles, photography style, and you can see how important that is. Like you probably have a huge data set of like maybe a fashion campaign.
yeah,
Also, logos. I have been using placement logos for brands that I'm creating to, and then go back. But just again, like quickly selling the idea or concept.
yeah. And, you know,
Awesome.
of course you can do you know, iconography, you can do
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. So it's
Amazing.
really useful. I've been I did actually a project for one of Sweden's biggest brands recently when I was the production guy doing the Gen AI stuff. So a lot of prompt engineering, but with early version of custom models. And I was really impressed with the amount of images. I think I generated 200 plus images, and they just chose 10. But
Mhm.
for their
Now look
article, but
look at this. It's like this. It's very consistent. I love it.
yeah,
Love it.
yeah. Awesome. So I'm just sharing here other stuff. So you can do subject as well. So you can
Mhm.
place your brand and you can do prompting in terms of no need for actually doing exotic photo shoots in South Africa or other countries. I just wanted to highlight that part as well.
Yes.
Oh, we've been speaking a lot, and we
I
want to
know.
also
I
do
hope you have
some
enough
Q and
to.
A.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
let's
get.
do it. Yeah, we do have some 5 minutes left for the Q and A, but key takeaways here, Jolene.
Yeah,
I know
experiment.
this is so important. This is so
Yeah,
important, right?
experiment. It's so
Yeah,
important to me because you're gonna
yeah.
hear a lot of people tell you specific about AI or they're experts in AI, but actually the perfect time right now is that not a lot of people actually know what its capabilities is yet. So you have to experiment. I experiment every day. I'm actually doing a little project right now. I'm doing Gen AI 365. And over the weekend I was able to do some text to 3D. I was able to ask a model to take a UI reference and code it for me. So there's so many potential. So please experiment and share them. I mean, please tag me in it too. Um, but yeah, it's a great time to get into it. And the only way you're going to be left behind is not playing with it at all.
So true, so true. And here we're going back to use cases. How you working for a big enterprise.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, it's important to really experiment, do an MVP, do a quick test, and map that back to a use case. And if you have an initiative where you have specific KPI, bigger chances than that your project will be used for real. You get more budgets and so on. I know to speak enterprise. That's the word of the enterprise. KPIs and use cases. But if you have done your experiments and you come with a bag of technologies that you can show your managers or powers that be, there's a bigger chance that you can actually realize them in big enterprises. That's the way it is.
Exactly. All right. So
Cool.
some questions. I know.
We're at the end.
All right.
So questions, yeah, yeah, and there's another poll going on, guys. Help us be better. Help us give us some feedback. What you thought about this session? I love this because this is the second time I'm doing this. Last time I was Jillian. I did a session with an IT guru here at Adobe, Jeff Mraz from New York, and now I've had you as my guest speaker. I just love to be at Adobe doing this kind of stuff. Working with people like you, amazingly
Yeah.
talented people like you. So hopefully we're going to do this again soon and choose another
Yeah.
topic to. Yeah,
I'm also like curious to see what people do with Firefly because they're again the ability because it's so commercially safe to use that makes me so confident about using it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and again, a lot of other models aren't considering that, but for big enterprise, just that indemnification has been so crucial, and I'm so happy to have partnered with you for this.
Thank you, and thank you for the producers to put this topic together. And we're so happy to actually the fact that we got the chance to collaborate is just amazing. And I'm gonna follow your 365 project on LinkedIn. I implore you, just as a recommendation, follow Jolene on LinkedIn. She's doing some amazing work and experimentation. And the cool about this is that you're sharing all of this for free.
Oh
All
yeah,
this stuff that
I'm
you come
sharing
up.
for free because
Yeah.
be always be generous with knowledge. Again, it's a perfect opportunity for this because again, very few people actually can be confident that they're experts. But guess
Mm.
what? I'm a programmer. I'm an interior designer. I'm a I'm an illustrator. Like there's so many things. Like I had a very long list of titles here, but it's because AI has empowered me to do that.
Nice. Cool. So how's it looking in terms of questions? Guys, do you have any can we pick up Jolene? I can't
Yeah.
see the
So,
I'm just
oh,
trying
I'm
to see.
sorry. David here said, Jenny AI is great. I wonder if it's possible to have the AI that will, let's see.
Oh, there it is. Now I see
Oh,
much better.
perfect. You see,
Thank
okay.
you, producer.
I wonder if it's possible
Uh,
to have the AI that I send a doc with the text and send a few original pictures, and the AI make me a video with only pictures I sent, and a speaker reads the text, and my pics will let us zoom in, zoom out. Oh, David, it seems as if you need an agent, an AI agent here, which is perfect because I can actually think in my mind how this works. There are some that I've tested where you've trained your face. Like I have done that, and I just enter a script. So yeah, just pasting that script, and it speaks it for you.
mm,
Yeah, I've been able to also use pictures that like animate. So it seems as if you can build an agent for that.
mm.
Will the deck be shared afterwards? I believe we are.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes, yes, we will.
Um, the GenAI output improves a lot if you write a good and detailed prompt. Is there any guidance or help in available Oh
Yes.
yeah, so we have some suggestions as you saw when we were demoing, but
Yeah.
I've used language models to help me prompt. I've
Mhm.
used other tools to describe an image. You can actually have some language models describe what they're seeing, so that actually helps me create some great prompts.
Yeah.
Um, oh, thank you for the
and
session.
and also and also we will be able to share. Rick will remind me to, when we're sending out the deck, to send the guidelines that my colleague Byron has created. That's so awesome in terms of giving you tips on prompting, especially with Firefly. So yeah, remind me. I'll
Awesome,
send you. It's a PDF, one pager, similar type of thing.
awesome. Well,
Yeah.
do we have more questions?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, I'm well. I know.
I'm
Just
available.
me too.
Yeah,
I can answer more questions. Yeah. Let's go
yeah.
until people jump off. But
Is it somehow possible to create brand AI pictures if you work for a company? Yes, but also my company right now is going through governance and stuff, so you probably want to make sure that the powers that be have insights into this. And of
mm,
course, working along with Adobe that helps. My like for my company, they were very happy with what was said with Adobe, like, again, being safe to use. So it is possible to have that. And you probably want to collaborate with your client as well, because I definitely know some clients who do not want to train their images. But again, that conversation needs to happen to let them
mm,
know how it's safe, and indemnification, because everybody always wants to know like who's going to be liable.
yeah,
So that conversation comes up for us too. So but that model seems to be safe. So that
yeah.
makes us easier to sell.
It, indemnification, guys, it's, if you haven't heard that term before, it's just a fancier word for insurance.
Yeah.
So Adobe gives you guys an insurance if you're a big enterprise and you buy that as part of your package. And that insurance, if someone was to say that you stole through a prompt or generate something that's so similar to their brand, you'll be safe. So yeah.
Exactly. With custom models of content kits, is it explicitly safe to upload sensitive client content? So again, we just spoke about that. You do want to talk with your clients about what is allowed to be shared, and I'm pretty sure there's contracts that you have that you have. So again,
Yeah.
having that conversation with the right powers is the best approach. Can I train the AI model with photos of myself? Absolutely, yes, because I do this all the time. This is where my
Yeah.
if you follow me online, you'll see that's why that poster came with. It's with my face. All my
Mhm.
avatars are, and even the invite for
Yeah.
this for this
Yeah.
session was an AI image of me.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm live right now. I'm not an AI model. Um,
Are you sure?
oh yeah, how would you know? Um, these custom models are really interesting. Is there an ability to create vector SVG for modeling icons or vector graphic? Yes. Illustrator has vector. And I'm actually using a language model right now that generates SVGs. And when I export it, I can bring that into Illustrator and continue modifying. So that has been a very empowering workflow for me. Um, Two questions here from Ritwick. Hopefully, I'm saying that correct. What can be the key takeaways for a multinational company, especially in the domain of intellectual property and global trade compliance? Oh, yes. Well, one key takeaway is speaking with the right powers, and I think I mentioned that on top. Yeah, because again, when we had that conversation with Adobe, they just made us feel empowered to even try this and pitch it to our clients. Because at the end of the day, we are all competing in that space.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
sometimes it's getting like making sure that it's more efficient and their dollars are going a long way is important to them. And again, just that safety and legal like regulations, it's important. Can you share the PowerPoint presentation of the session? I believe we mentioned that before.
Yes.
How does Firefly integrate with Adobe Workfront? Does it, Johan? I'm not
Well,
sure.
it doesn't integrate, but it's actually, it can be part through APIs. It can be part of a Workfront project for sure.
Mhm.
Workfront has an engine, a low code, no code engine called Fusion. So Fusion is basically like a way for you, a mechanism like Power Automate, for you to actually chain together certain processes. So, speaking of agents, not gonna say much more than that. So you
Okay.
will be able to do something
A
like that with
tease, a
Workfront.
tease, a tease. I love a good
Yeah,
tease.
yeah,
Um, Is it accurate? Firefly used to be just for image generation, peer to Photoshop. Now there's Firefly models for Premiere, Illustrator, and other programs in the suite. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So commercial safe and won't use content from anywhere else. But what happens if with our or my own content I upload and create with Firefly? Oh yeah, you do. You own your own images.
Yep.
Like Adobe is never going to take that or train it or anything like that. Thankfully, but of course I asked that. So I gave it to Johan.
Thankfully, she says.
He does not have any permission to use it otherwise than this webinar. And it's
Exactly.
yeah, it's a fact.
Yeah.
And Retro is asking, Jerlyn, where can I follow you on Insta? I'm actually commute artist on Instagram. I don't commute as much anymore, but commute artist is where I do post some experiments, but I'm mostly on LinkedIn. Yeah, and
Cool.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm actually like at the end of the day going to create some AI agents. So
Yes, that I want to follow that one because for your 365, that would be such a great project to
thank you.
come back and saying, guys, I went and I tried it, and here is my first iteration of an agent. That would be so awesome.
Awesome. No, and I
Yeah.
actually built like two apps yesterday, just with the language model. So I'm not a
It's amazing.
programmer by trade.
Yeah, but you're a polymath. You
Exactly.
do have that ability to split your brains in two. You know, the creative side and the tech side, and you
Like
went
you.
to a yeah. Well, we are very like yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We have a similar background, guys. If you're listening, me and Jolene have a similar background. I am a software developer, but also designer, and so yeah. So
And I learned how to code back in the day. Won't tell you when. But
yeah.
yeah,
So
that design
so
and coding and writing. So
yeah
it's all like
yeah.
connected. Oh yeah, and I forgot to
I,
mention it. I did
yeah.
publish a book written by AI with
Yes,
one day.
mention that one, Jolene, because I think that
Yeah.
would be inspiring for a lot of our attendees as well. So, what how did you? How was the process behind it? I'm so excited. I want to hear
So
more. Tell me.
I really love coffee, and I wanted to create a coffee table book about coffee, and I always wanted to do it. I know something
Mm.
meta about that. So I just took a day off one day, and I figured, what can I really publish a book in a day? And of course, we're concerned
A
about copyright.
day? Did
Oh yeah, it
what?
was in a day. Yes. So
Jolene, you're like the superwoman. I don't. Sorry.
efficiency, guys, efficiency. So we, of course, we're concerned of copyright and things like that. So I'm listed as a compiler. I am not the writer. ChatGPT
That's
and
interesting.
Gemini was, yeah. So ChatGPT and Gemini I used for the outline of the book and the content, and
Mm,
I use Midjourney, Firefly to generate images as well.
mm.
Um, and yeah, I was able to publish it in one day. And now I have a coffee table
Gosh.
book about coffee written by AI. It also named the book Artificial Aromas. So you can find it in
Wow.
bookstores anywhere. But yeah, I was just curious about the process. And by the way, guys, you should always use an editor, no matter what. This was just an experiment.
Mm,
Um, I'm pretty sure you can probably build an agent for an editor right now, but I still think you need human oversight no matter what,
mm,
because my editor is amazing.
mm.
And I would not make him look over that book. But if you get it, let me know how it is.
Yeah.
Um, but it's
Wow.
just like just exciting how fast our process can be now with
Mm.
AI tools.
Amazing. Well, guys, I don't know about you, but I've been so inspired by the session, and we're we're at the point where, yeah, we're 10 past.
It's fantastic.
Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So, in respect of everyone's time, and thank you very much for still hanging with us, and we will wrap up, and we'll send you the deck. We'll put this on demand as well, so there's gonna be you're gonna be able to go back and check it out again, and also share this with your friends and colleagues and as well. So if you when you get the recording, and I know the producers will be able to leverage this recording later on as well. Charlene, once again, thank you for joining us,
thank you
and
for inviting me.
thank you, and producer, thank you for doing an amazing job. There was no hiccups with the technology. Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye.